Morning. Last week, we looked at learning outcome 3 on advanced predictive modeling, on develop generalized linear models and carry out a survival analysis and proportional hazards regression. We looked at the key terminology. We looked at the data operators in R, arithmetic operator, logical operators, relational operator, assignment operator, miscellaneous operators. We looked at conditional statements. We looked at loops, and in R, we looked at for loop, while loop, and repeat loop. We also looked at linear models example, structure of Zook models, among other things. We looked at the Cox model, time to event, and we looked at an example. So today, this is learning outcome 4, which is the last learning outcome in this module, which is on advanced computing research methods, be able to develop a research proposal. So what is the unit aim? The aim of this unit is to develop learners' ability to prepare for various types of academically based computing research through the development and design of a research proposal. Learners will develop critical understanding of the philosophical, practical, and ethical concepts of research within the context of computing discipline. These are the indicative contents, so which involve reports format. Example, the title, acknowledgement, content page. The next one is introduction, summary of literature review, research methods, which method used, findings, recommendations. We also have references, bibliography, appendices, e.g. questionnaire, surveys. Referencing is Harvard system. The next thing we're looking at is the key terminology. So what is advanced computing? This is a large umbrella term for the many new methodologies and technologies, including advancement in materials used to drive innovative computing methods. Multiple solutions fit under this umbrella, including neuromorphic computing, cloud computing, quantum computing, and edge-fog computing. The complexity and data-rich environment within airports may encourage the use of new and more powerful computing technologies. Until real-world deployment begin, airport operators will likely not understand the full impact that advanced computing deployment will have on their airport environment. So over here, we have creative research question, literature review, and methodology. The first question you have to ask yourself is, what is literature review? So a literature review is a survey of scholarly sources on a specific scholarly sources on a specific topic. 2, it provides an overview of current knowledge, allowing you to identify relevant theories, methods, and gaps in the existing research that you can later apply to your paper, thesis, or dissertation topic. What are the types? There are a few key steps to writing a literature review. So you have to search for relevant literature, evaluate sources, identify themes, debates, and gaps, outline the structure, write your literature review. Just for us, like, understanding, there's a link, and I'm sure that there's a video that I've seen previously on it. So this video.
Imagine living in one of the top cities in Europe. Imagine finishing class and enjoying writing.
We're having a look at it, and also we have this link that can make us understand more about literature review. So let's get back to our slides. The next topic is we've looked at the types. So the next one is what is the purpose of a literature review? The first purpose is to demonstrate and then develop, position, show, and evaluate. So what is demonstrate? Demonstrate your familiarity with the topic and the scholarly context. Develop a theoretical framework and methodology for your research. Position your work in relation to other researchers and theorists. Show how your research addresses a gap or contributes to a debate. Evaluate the current state of research and demonstrate your knowledge of the scholarly debates around your topic. What's the next topic? Example of literature reviews. So the first example is, why do people migrate? A review of theoretical literature. Theoretical literature review about the development of economic migration theory from the 1950s to today. Example 2, literature review of the research methodology and overview and guidelines. So that is methodological literature review about interdisciplinary knowledge, acquisition, and production. Example 3, the use of technology in English language learning, a literature review, thematic literature review about the effects of technology on language acquisition. Acquisition, I mean, not accusation, acquisition, like for you to acquire something. So what's a research question? For you to like carry out a research, you have to like have a question on the topic. So this is a concept map. So you have your main research question and you have the subtopic on it. Underneath it. So this is an example showing that. So the research question is, the research topic or research question is, what impact does diversity have on organizational effectiveness? So the subtopic are workplace diversity, benefits a diverse workforce, managing diversity, training programs. So you have to, for the workplace diversity, you have the definition, history, trends, United States, foreign business, multinational corporations. Benefits of diverse workforce, we have productivity, problem solving, globalization, competition, market share. Managing diversity, you have corporate culture, discrimination, turnover, litigation. Training programs, diversity training, human resources, model, best practices, cost of benefit. So after knowing all this, you have to learn how to write a research question. So for you to be able to write a research question, you can follow these steps to develop a strong research question. Choose your topic, do some preliminary reading about the current state of the field. So you have to understand, that literally means understanding what your topic is and narrow your focus to a specific niche. Identify the research problem that you will address. The way you frame your question depends on what your research aims to achieve. The table below shows some example of how you might formulate questions for different purposes. So structure your report. So you have to have your abstract and the executive summary. That is the shop window for you for your report. It is the first and sometimes the only section to be read and should be the last to be written. It should enable the reader to make an informed decision about whether they want to read the report itself. Length depends on the extent of the work reported. Usually a paragraph or two and always less than a page. It should briefly explain, number one, the purpose of the work, methods used for research, main conclusion reached, and any recommendation. The structure of the report must also include introduction. So the introduction should explain the rationale for undertaking the work reported on, and the way you decide to do it, include what you have been asked or choosing to do, and the reason for doing it. So number one, state what the report is about. What is the question you are trying to answer? If it is a brief for a specific reader, e.g., a feasibility report on a construction project for a client, say who they are. Number two, describe your starting points and the background to the subject. Example, what research has already been done? If you have to include a literature review, this will only be a brief survey. What are the relevant themes and issues? Why are you being asked to investigate it now? You also need to know the methods that you'll be using. So the method should be written in such a way that reader could replicate the research you have done. State clearly how you carry out your investigation. Explain why you choose this particular method. So this involves questionnaire, focus group, experimental procedure, etc. Include techniques and any equipment you used. If there were participants in your research, who were they, how many, how were they selected? The next one, which is the results, data findings. This section has only one job, which is to present the findings of your research as simply as possible. This is the format that will achieve this most effectively. Example, text and if appropriate graphs, tables, or diagrams. Don't repeat the same information in two visual formats, e.g., a graph and a table. Label your graphs and tables clearly. Give each figure a title and describe in words what the figure demonstrates. Save your interpretation of the results for the discussion section. So the next one is the discussion. This way you discuss about your findings. So the discussion is probably the longest section. It brings everything together, showing you how your findings respond to the brief you explained in your introduction and the previous research you surveyed in your literature review. This is the place to mention if there were any problems. Example, your results were different from expectations. You couldn't find important data, or you had to change your methods or participants and how they were, or and how they were or could have been solved. The conclusion, which is the last part. So the conclusion should be a short section with no argument or evidence. This section should give a feeling of closure and completion to your report. Some of the main points of your research. How did they answer the original brief for the work reported on? This section may also include recommendations for action, suggestions for further research. The appendices. Let's include any additional information that may help the reader, but it's not essential to the report's main findings. So, for example, you can have your code. If you are given a task to build a code or to build a module, you can have that in your appendices. The report should be able to stand alone without the appendices. An appendix can include, for instance, interview questions, questionnaires, surveys, raw data figures, tables, maps, charts, graphs, a glossary of terms used. A separate appendix should be used for each distinct topic or set of data. Order your appendices in order in which you refer to the content in the text. Start each appendix on a separate page and label sequentially with letters or numbers, e.g. Appendix A, Appendix B. So the next topic is proposed techniques for use with quantitative or qualitative data collection and analysis. For this, you have to define the aim of your research. Before you start the process of data collection, you need to identify exactly what you want to achieve. You can start by writing a problem statement. What is the practical or scientific issue that you want to address, and why does it matter? The next one is formulate one or more research questions that precisely define what you want to find out. Depending on your research question, you might need to collect quantitative or qualitative data. Quantitative data is expressed in numbers and graphs and is analyzed through statistical methods. Qualitative data is expressed in words and analyzed through interpretations and categorizations. So the next one is choose your data collection method. This means based on the data you want to collect, decide which method is best suited for your research. Experimental research is primarily a quantitative method. Interview, focus groups, and ethnographies are qualitative methods. Surveys, observations, archival research, and secondary data collection can be quantitative or qualitative methods. Plan your data collection procedures. When you know which methods you are using, you need to plan exactly how you will implement them. What procedure will you follow to make accurate observations or measurements of the variables you are interested in? For instance, if you are conducting surveys or interviews, decide what form the questions will take. If you're conducting an experiment, make decisions about your experimental design, e.g., designing inclusion and exclusion criteria. Operationalization. Sometimes your variables can be measured directly. For example, you can collect data on the average age of employees simply by asking for dates of birth. However, often you will be interested in collecting data. One more abstract concept of variables that can't be directly observed. Operationalization means turning abstract concept ideas into measurable observations. When planning on how you will collect data, you need to translate the conceptual definition of what you want to study into the operational definition of what you will actually measure. So you have to know, collect the data. The next topic is collect the data. To collect data about perceptions of managers, you administer a survey with closed and open-ended questions to a sample of 300 company employees across different departments and locations. The closed-ended question asks participants to rate their manager's leadership skills on scales from 1 to 5. The data produced is numerical and can be statistically analyzed for averages and patterns. The open-ended question asks participants, for example, of what the manager is doing well now and what they can do better in the future. The data produced is qualitative and can be categorized through content analysis for further insight. So what is sampling? You have to understand what sampling means. So sampling, you may need to develop a sampling plan to obtain data systematically. This involves defining the population, the group you want to draw conclusions about, and the sample, the group you will actually collect data from. The sampling method will determine how you recruit participants or obtain measurements for your study. To decide on a sampling method, you will need to consider factors like required sample size, accessibility of the sample, and time frame of the data collection. Standardizing procedures. If multiple researchers are involved, write a detailed manual to standardize data collection procedures in your study. This means laying out specific step-by-step instructions so that everyone in your research team collect data in a consistent way. For example, by conducting experiments under the same condition and using objective criteria to record and categorize observations. This helps you avoid common research bias like omitted variable bias or information bias. So for this brings an end to our session today. These are the references that we used and the books and the journals or articles. And as usual, don't forget to send us an email if you have any question. Don't forget to submit your assignments and all. So this is the last topic. Tomorrow, we'll be looking at assignment discussion on this module. So let's watch this video that will explain how to write a literature review for us.
I think the literature review might be easier than you think. It's only a critical recap of what has already been researched on a topic, so no need to panic. In this video, you'll learn how to write a literature review in 5 simple steps. Hi, I'm Jessica from Scriber, here to help you achieve your academic goals. We also zoomed in on all of the steps outlined in this video in separate videos. Check out the playlist here. Now let's get ready to start writing. Step 1. Search for relevant literature on your topic. In this context, literature just means any academic sources like books or journal articles about your topic. First, you need to search in the right scholarly database, so something like Google Scholar, PubMed, or Science Direct. Search your keywords with Boolean operators like these to help you filter and refine the search results. Check out this video to find out how to use them. Step 2. Evaluate and select sources. Unless your topic is super niche, you probably can't read everything that's been written on the topic. Once you've got the sources from step 1, read the abstract to scan whether an article is relevant or not. Also scan the bibliography to find other relevant sources. You should also pay attention to the citation count on Google Scholar. If the count is high, the source is probably important and you should include it. Step 3. Identify themes, debates, and gaps. As you read, take notes and pay attention to the connections between different sources. This way, you can organize your literature review's arguments and structure a lot easier. Here are some things to look for: trends and patterns in theories, methods, or results. Themes, debates or contradictions, influential studies, and gaps. Step 4. Outline your literature review structure. You can go about your literature review structure in a few ways. It all depends on what you found in the literature and what you want to emphasize. Here are 4 common approaches to structure the literature review. Chronological, that means from older to more recent publications. Thematic, so organized around several key themes. For methodological, you can compare the different research methods being used across studies. As for theoretical, you use it to discuss opposing theories or models. More details in this video. Check it out. And finally, get writing. Make sure your literature review has an introduction, a main body that summarizes and synthesizes the sources, and a conclusion, just like other academic texts. Now let's get your literature review started. To learn more about literature review, click this playlist. I'll see you there.
So this brings an end to our topic today on advanced computing research methods, be able to develop research proposal. So just for recap, today we looked at how to create a research questionnaire, literature review methodology. We looked at what literature review is, looks at the type of literature review and steps to writing a literature review. Look at, concept of research question from the main topic to the subtopic. The main research question to the subtopic. How to structure your report. Propose techniques for use with quantitative or qualitative data collection and analysis. Operationalization, collect data, and standard procedures. So with this brings an end to our class today. I'll see you tomorrow for the assignment discussion.